Ahoy there! Got my 4A-C, already in the process of being slapped together. As you guys probably saw in the last video, I got a 4A-C off of Marketplace, and I was told it only had 80,000 miles on it, and it may have been 80,000 miles since it was rebuilt. It had cracked ringlands, and the cylinder walls were not the best shape, so it is what it is. I'm not upset about it. So it's actually already partway assembled. This is now bored 1 millimeter as an overbore. Needs some paint on the block and stuff like that, but we'll take care of that a little bit later. All right, so got on my bearings laid out. These are just engine techs. I think I got these off of Rock Auto. I'm going to go ahead and just place all these in right now. I'm not going to clean them or anything just yet because this isn't the actual final installation time. I'm just going to take them, drop them into the block, kind of like so. And I just want to check the clearance and make sure everything is all good to go. I'm going to plastic gauge everything, make sure everything's in good shape before we go ahead and just send this thing on its way. So we'll come back in here a little later. We'll lube them all up and clean them all up. All right, so I got all the bottom bearings in. Actually, I guess they would technically be the top bearings. See, these have a little bit of a groove and then a hole right there. These ones don't have this groove at all. Actually, the factory service manual shows some that have grooves in both of these sides. So I thought that was a little bit interesting, but my only thoughts would be these would go there because of the holes. That way it would do through the oil pump. There'd be this little passage through here somewhere that kind of shoots oil through it. Don't judge me. I'm in my basement in PJs. It's literally was 2 degrees this morning or 1 degree this morning when I left for work. So I want to do this inside the house. Now, I do not have the thrust washers installed or anything right now. I'm just kind of trying to get some clearances and some specs, see how everything's going. So, per this, the maximum clearance is 0.008 or 0.0031, and the standard is like 5 to 19 over here. So, I got some plastic gauge right here. So, realistically, 0.0031. So, as long as we are under that 0.003 with this plastic gauge, we should be pretty good to go. So, I'm going to take this out of here. See if I can do this one-handed. And I can't. There's no way. All right. A little piece of dental floss. We're going to lay that right up top of there. Just kind of like that. All right. Got my main caps right here. I don't know how well you can see it, but these do have numbers on these with an arrow as pointing as to which way they should go. So the arrow would go towards the front, basically towards the water pump or the crankshaft pulley. We'll take this bearing right here. Again, I'm not really like majorly prepping these or anything. I'm just kind of trying to check clearances right now. Make sure everything's good to go. I know this crank was turned. These bearings say the original bearings that came out of this block say 0.25 on the bottom of them. I don't know how well that'll pick up, but I want to verify that before I go real crazy. The machine shop did polish it up. He said he didn't need to do any sort of cuts on it, so I think I'm going to be good to go. But I just want to still verify that everything's good to go before I put this thing together. Torque wrench is at 47. $47 on the dot. 47 on the dot. Well, a little over. Caps are all off. Plastic gauge is all splattered across the crank. Again, we are shooting for 0.005 to 0.019. So this plastic gauge I've got, we should be somewhere between the first three. Looks like we are thicker than that one. We're right about there. which 0.0019 is standard. I think we're a hair thicker than that, a little bit thinner than that one. So again, maximum is 0.0031. So 0.0031 would be, if I get the focus, would be that really thin one over there. And we are definitely thicker than that one, so I think we're good. Let's go over here to this one. Yeah, we're right there. Right about 0.002. Definitely thicker than 0.003. So I would say that's good. So at least these three are good. I'll check these other two off camera. And I'm pretty sure everything's going to be good to go. But I'll get it all checked off camera. Get all this crap cleaned up. And then we'll get the crank pulled out, lubed, and slapped back together for hopefully the only time ever. And it is now going to be time to put my pistons in. Woo! This road is rough. Snow's finally melted. Oh gosh. Oh boy. We're gonna be okay. Oh, there she is. All right, we're going to take a couple minutes of a break, assembling that engine, and we're going to come over here and visit the parts car. Now, this car I've not actually told you guys about, and I apologize for that because I really should have videoed it because it was quite the adventure. But this is a parts car I actually got out of Wisconsin, and yeah, it's now doesn't have much of anything left in it. I pretty much cleaned most of everything out of it. There's a few little bits and pieces and bobs and stuff inside of here that got to get pulled out, but for the most part, she's pretty well cleared out. It's a really bummer that this hatch is unsalvageable, but that's how it goes. But at least the rear glass is good. This is actually a little weird of a car. It's a non-rear wiper sprayer, and it's an SR5, which is a little wild, but I am after something in the firewall. I'm after, oh, I didn't realize there was a cap still on there. I want that. I am after this section of the firewall right here. I need to get the clutch cable opening out of here, which is that piece right there. So my friend Justin is manual swapping his four-door. He's got a really nice four-door hatchback. It's super clean. It was off the road for like 15 years, and he kind of revived it. And in order for him to manual swap it, he wants to have a factory clutch cable opening that he can cut and weld in. So figured I might as well get this one off this parts car before the parts car is gone. So let's get to some Dyson. Oh, all right. Let's see. How can I get this out of here? Okay, got the piece out I needed. This should be enough to make an easy cut out of there, sleeve, and make this whole thing work. I did that with just my Sawzall, and it ended up not being as easy as I wanted it to be, but out she goes. All right, well, we got that part cut up. This car is gonna get diced up a little bit later on, so we're just gonna salvage windows, some lights. There's some seat belts and some brackets and things in here that I gotta get out. And we're also gonna save these rockers right here, because despite this car being utterly terrible, these are in incredible shape on both sides. I think there's a little bit of a ding on that side, some small rust, but that right there compared to what's there, it'll definitely be an improvement. And it'll be fun to learn how to weld. So, all right, let's go ahead to the other car. Actually, you don't know about the other car yet, but we're gonna go ahead to another car that's over here. So the other car is not this Mustang. It's not this thing. Well, you probably can see it now. It's this. Now, most of you will probably not know what this is, because this is an old car on the channel. This is actually the first car that Alex and I got. We went down to like Southern Ohio to get this car. I think he got it for 400 bucks, something like that. I don't remember, but this actually was owned by Stephen Alana. He currently has the Beams Swap 3SGE wagon, and yeah, this is gonna be Alex's car at some point in time soon. We'll be getting it together for him. It's got most of the parts it needs, transmission. I got an engine for it, and this car's gonna be back on the road soon. Very excited for it. I know Alex has a lot of other projects going on, so, but he will be getting this going soon. All this stuff is actually on his channel. It's Hubert's Projects, so I'll link his channel in the description, but check him out, show him some love, and I cannot wait for this thing to happen. Hopefully I can be part of the video series with them, getting this thing going again, because I'm legitimately extremely excited about this car. Mostly for the fact that I think it was the third or fourth one to ever enter my driveway. So, yeah. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it finished. All right, now we'll get rolling back home. All right, so here's all my connecting rods. Here's all my pistons. Machine shop actually re-stamped these, or I should say he etched in the side of them. He etched where the front is. He even sold the rings for me, which is pretty cool. So I am more or less going to right now just go ahead and take these. He marked which way goes forward, so the little dot on the top of the piston will also be forward. So I'm going to go ahead and take these fancy 1mm overbore, which is basically 40 thousandths. And I'm going to go ahead and take my Amazon special ring compressor that I bought for Spud to do that engine on there years and years and years back. I'm going to go ahead and douse everything with ATF. I've had this random jug of Honda ATF laying around for a long time. So I'll lube all the sides of this up, lube this up, lube the insides of these up. I am doing this in my basement, so I threw some cardboard down, which already tipped over. But I'm going to go ahead and try and not make a giant mess and get this assembled. Here we go. Those are pretty clean. Whoa. Come on, a little faster than I wanted to. Remember I said that theoretically shouldn't make a mess? I was wrong. Okay. Now for this first ring, I don't have one of those fancy like conical ones that slide down, but I do got this, so I'll go ahead and snug this thing up right here. So this thing just kind of tighten up a ratchet, and it slowly squeezes everything together. Now we cannot forget the most important part, the connecting rod bearings. I'm going to slide those into their little groove. Add a little bit of this assembly lube again on this. Yeah, boy, this stuff is either thick or closed off. Closed off. All right, so F for forward, little dot on the piston, facing forward. So theoretically, we should be good to go. I'm going to gently drop this thing in here and not gouge the cylinder walls up bad, theoretically. Now, they do make fancy hammers for this, but I'm poor, and I'll never really use it because I assemble like one engine a year, maybe two. Sitting all the way flush, because if it's not, rings can pop out, which actually appears to be what's happening at this exact moment. So the one thing that's nice about the cone-shaped ones and not these is this can happen right here. So that bearing or that ring for the oil control ring is actually sticking out ever so slightly. There we go. We got one in. Numero uno is done. I'm going to have to wipe off a lot of the crap on this. Give that a little bit of lube too. He probably doesn't need it, but why not? So that should slide on there, like that. Now these torque from 26 to 32 foot-pounds. All right. All right, well, this video is getting a little bit long. I know it's not really the most exciting thing to kind of watch all this tedious stuff. At least in my personal opinion, it seems a little slow-paced, kind of boring. So I'm going to go ahead and quick finish slapping the rest of this together off camera, and we'll hop outside real quick and I'll show you the new project car. Well, you guys probably already noticed in the background of one or two of my other videos at least. I've pushed it around and done a few things with it, but here she is. This is what the new 4A-C is going in. So this is an 87 DLX. I'm like downgrading. I used to own SR5s and now I own DLXs. But yeah, I got a couple of cars now with the fancy headlight style. I really like the look of these over the 83 to 86 design personally. But yeah, the car is from Colorado. She's got plenty of paint imperfections all across it, along with a lot of fade. It did live in Arizona for quite a while, but yeah, third brake light car. Moving up in the world, or something like that. This is actually the newest car I own at this moment. So the one thing I really like about this car is the color of the interior. This is a like black / navy blue, and it looks great. Color's really nice. There's a teeny little bit of fade over here in the corner of this seat. Looks like somebody kind of rebolstered it and kind of cleaned it up a little bit, but shows 192 on the odometer. But if you guys know anything about these wagons, this would have been a non-tachometer cluster from the factory. So I do not know what the actual mileage is, unfortunately, but it's got a old school JVC cassette player. Got a real nice headliner. Interior's in pretty good shape. It is missing the transmission currently. Here's the back seat. It's got a bunch of parts back there. It was from Stevenson Toyota, Denver West. I believe that would be Colorado, because Denver, Colorado, but I'm not 100% on that. Yeah, a couple of CVs back here. I got some brake pads, and there's a clutch in that box right there, along with part of the transmission inside of here. And then I got lots of other parts stashed inside for this car. There's going to be a lot of things that's going to be happening to this car. But one thing that's really nice about it is that it is absolutely cherry underneath it. There's a couple of very minor spots of rust in the back corners by the rear doors. The water tends to kind of get trapped behind here and run down over here and bubble up and come down over here. So there's a bit of, oh, the door's locked, but there's a little bit of rust right over here. And the same over there, but underneath this car. Is in very good shape. That's going to be awesome. So this is going to be my new winter rig. This is going to be the replacement for the off-road car. We're going to go ahead, put a 4A into it, get the factory carburetor all hooked up. I'm going to do probably a different radio, new speakers, sound deadening in the interior a little bit, handful of other little odds and ends, a bunch of goodies, and this will be our new overlanding rig. I kind of hate that terminology, but I'm going to be taking on lots of adventures, lots of multi-state trips. Hopefully going to do Moab next year. So 2026 we'll do Moab with it. That's the goal. I'm going to take it to the UP, start doing some rallycross and stuff with it. A lot of other fun things. So it's got a lift kit installed that doesn't have much of any miles yet on it. Just needs rear shocks. I don't think it actually has like any miles on it, if I'm being completely honest, but I'm not 100% on that. Overall, she is a unit. This thing's in great shape and I cannot wait to get it going. So my DLX next to my other DLX. Got a pair of DLXs now. A little wild. Yeah, hopefully the next time you guys see this thing, I will be blowing the entire interior apart, going through it, getting a bunch of stuff redone. She's been off the road for a few years, but she definitely deserves to be back on the road again soon. So stay tuned for more. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the new project. And then after this thing is done, we're going to get painting the rally car, because that needs to get painted yet this year. Then the Model A is going to get going, and a couple other things. We're going to hopefully get the manual transmission swap done on the Carib, but it may not happen this year. Kind of depends on timelines, because I got a lot of stuff, a lot of really tall goals to hopefully hit this year. So stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. And if there's anything you want to see done specifically on this thing, any questions, any projects that you've been wanting to tackle on your own car, drop it down in the word spot, and maybe I'll film it. Maybe it's something super simple for me to do while I'm working on everything else. So, yeah. That's all I got for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Catch you guys at the next one. Adios.